Howdys and salutations, y'all. As you can see, we're back with a little more Swordtember speedrunning. That's right, we're still trying to play catch up. Well, truthfully, I have no idea if we're gonna get there or not. If I didn't have anything else to do and I could keep this rate up every day this week, I'd say we'd actually be set. Like, we're making good time. However, I have a rather busy week tomorrow and on Friday, which is part of why I don't stream on those days. So unfortunately, it is, well, I mean, it would be a bit of a long shot for us to get all of them done, but, you know, if we extend a little bit into the next weekend, it might just happen. We are making excellent time, like, seriously, much better time. We've done more catch up on this than I thought we were going to get done at all. And my brainstorming is further ahead, too. I've only got 5 left that I haven't got some sort of design idea for. As y'all know, I try to sketch these out in pencil before we do it digitally. Gives me a little more time. Pencil's easier for me to just sort of throw down ideas and see how they land. Maybe it's just more familiar. I don't know. But I can just do random stuff with pencil and it works a little easier. So it's good for ideation, for coming up with a whole bunch of different ideas, even if most of them are garbage, until I get to something that I kind of like. Also a good trick with brainstorming just in general to do as many, like, just throw down all the plain ideas first and then you can start coming up with other stuff, because otherwise those plain ideas are just sort of bumping around in your brain, and I gotta say, they're kind of hard to ignore when they're just sitting there. So you throw them on the page and you leave them behind, or sometimes you come back to them because all the crazy ideas that you come up with are terrible. But sometimes you get some good stuff. So I don't want to take too long on the setup on this one. As you may have expected, we've got 3 more Swordtembers here, and I am excited to get into them. Let's see what we want to look at here. Okay, I'm going to do that one second. That one... You know what? We could do that one first. That'd be an interesting twist. So, the three designs that I want to look at today, one of them is actually today's prompt, which I believe is pattern. Unless I've gotten the date wrong. As much as I want to do some Fibonacci design stuff or inspiration from that old redesign your logo document that was entertaining, I think that really I've got an interesting one in mind. I think is fun and maybe a little more medieval than some of the other stuff I do, which is all over the place. Then after pattern, I think that we're going to go to Heirloom because I had no ideas, and then something just clicked in like 2 minutes, and it just boop, and I've got it. I've got ideas. Well, one idea, but I think it's a good one. And then last up is glass, which I've been putting off, not because it's hard, because I had a really fun idea for it, and I want to do it justice. So I do think we do that one last. For the record, I cannot go over time today. I can't spend more time fixing them up. I might do it anyway, but I shouldn't. I am so behind on sleep. So if I'm a little rambly today or all over the place, I do apologize. But that's maybe just going to be a thing. That said, we're already 5 minutes in. I don't want us to take too long. So let's, how's about we jump right into pattern? So, as per tradition, we've got our normal layer. Let's throw our, whoa, I can't believe that worked. Raster layer. I didn't fix my double click settings, by the way. I just realized that. Well, just gonna run with it. Anyway, we set up our background, and we set up our sketch, which may or may not be end up getting called sketch. It's really a shot in the dark. Okay, so then next up, looking at same color palette. I have been loving this A Nice Room color palette, by the way. Low Spec has a lot of good ones, but it's got just enough variety that I can fit most anything into it. That said, future, I'd like to do like a closer to monochrome or maybe dichrome, bichrome, I don't know which it is, two color palette where it's just highlights and shadows, and I've got to really focus on the form and not the colors themselves. You can get some really classy looking stuff doing that. It really looks really sharp, but I have enjoyed just having a nice color palette so I don't have to think through and over panic colors. And then for Huevember, I'd want to make my own stuff. Now, of course, that one's got some set color ranges typically, but like there'll be some interesting things going on there. But for now, we're going to stick with this one. It has been wonderful. It's created some fun work, and it means all the swords kind of look nice together. Makes it a little better for a showroom of sorts if I ever do something at the end. So, that in mind, I think that we're going to pick our background color, and thinking about what this sword is going to have, which is an awful lot of two colors in particular, and a fair bit of a third. What's the good background option for that? You know, I think we do our, yeah, we do the gold and yellow for this one. That's absolutely what we do. Okay, okay. Not the hyper pale one. The gold one. Yeah, get some high contrast. Hyper pale is nice too. You even go orange. We'll check it at the end, you know? But I think this will be good. We'll do our rotation over to 90-ish. 90 exactly. And I will, I suppose, well, let me set up my one photo reference because this is a funny idea and I do need a photo reference for it. Yes, there we go. Then let us get this timer begun and I'll explain what we're doing. Boom, we're right in here. And I'm not minimizing it and accidentally pausing the timer view this time. Okay, so what I want to do for pattern is an old Scottish tartan. I think that'd be fun. And they're really cool patterns. So I looked up one for Clan Gun, I believe. Yes, Clan Gun. And we're just going to work with that. So apologies to Clan Gun if I do get this wrong. I'm not an expert tartan maker. Whoa. Apparently I'm not even an expert brush sizer. Crikey. And I'm on the background layer. Double crikey. Okay, back at it. And I did look up some references for, well, I don't know how authentic searching Scottish sword on Google is really going to get. Well, actually, DuckDuckGo, but close enough. Philosophically different, functionally similar. But yes, so I did look that up. So this might look like a proper claymore, or it might not be close. I don't know enough to make a good judgment call there. Let's see. For this part, I think we're going to want our middle blues. I think that will be the most interesting option. I need context for size. Okay. But I like this because it's a lot more of like a long and narrow one, and a lot of our blades lately have been kind of wide and fat, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed all of them. But this is definitely going to get us something a little bit better, I think, in terms of, well, a little more authentic and just mixing it up, honestly. Whoops. I do not want to do that. My fingers are one set of keys over too far. There we go, fixed. Okay, so we've got that sort of central one. We'll have to do some more stuff with that, of course. But it means that I'm not using the straight line tool, so I can't do a straight line. That's fine. I want this roughly middle back where these are going to hit. And I do want them to poke out probably... Oh, glad the zoom's working again. Probably about yay far. Let's do this. And this is one of those, this is going to be another one of those ones where the sketch may just become the inks. I'm thinking, since I'm doing sort of a pencil sketch already to get ideas in, it makes more sense in the 30 minutes to just sort of have a go at this and see if I can't do it well. Now, there's something to be said about going through all three stages. Like with Shell, I think we learned some useful things and made a better design on the second go, really. But I'm trying to well, we're experimenting, and with this one, I think it's going to be just fine as is. Let's see. Oh boy, this is going to be a little complicated. Should really have gotten the. Oh, that's the issue there. Should really have symmetried this, but that's fine. I can copy and paste and get a similar effect. For the record, I didn't make this based exactly off of one particular sword, which I think will be obvious. I just sort of looked at a lot of examples and then tried to come up with something that seemed reasonably fitting. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. And then I can use my little cheat to copy and paste that. Then to move it over here. Oops. Alright, I guess I can still use the scroll bar. That's good. Yeah, the pan tool reacts differently depending, or may not even be selected, depending on what other tool you're using. That is one thing about CSP, is some of the stuff that's conditional I kind of wish was just consistent throughout. But it works. Let's see, do I really want to introduce more colors into this? Maybe. Actually, no, let's just do the blue through this one across because it's gonna, okay. Idea, that'll be fine, Let's run with it, how we doing? Okay, we're spending a little time on this, but that is partly because I'm assuming that this is sort of sketch and line work. Sketch and ink, if you will, which again, not actually good practice, but we're on a time limit. We can't necessarily do best practice. We can just do decent practice. Let's see. 1 second. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's not going to be a very good Tama shader, but we'll do what we can for sort of facsimile of it. We're going to have some fun with that later. Oh right, I need to merge these, but I can get rid of this line beforehand. That's nice. Let's see. Right click. Nope, just merge selected layers. Cool. Yeah, we'll get all that working. But now for the blade itself, which is where I want to actually spend my time. Well, and fixing this thing a little bit. Yay. I know I shouldn't use the line corrections yet. There's some stuff up here that's just, well, it needs the correcting too bad. Whoa. I guess when you've got two of them, one of them becomes the point at the end of a taper. Well, either way, that's not really what I wanted. That explains some things, at least. Learned a bit more about some of the vector tool's quirks. Okay, well, anyway, that's good enough. We'll just, we'll do our simplify and then we'll put it back where it belongs. You remember, simplify means that we have fewer points to deal with. Which means, whoops, that, long term, wow, I don't know why it's another taper one, ugh. But it means it's easier to control the curves. When you've got just like 2 points, you can do better controls just in general, which when we're trying to make something symmetrical is handy. Now, if you want more precision over the exact small curvature and movement of it, then more of those points is actually better, because each one gives you another sort of piece to work with. Good, I finally got rid of that. Oh, I didn't even name this, let alone save it. Ruh-roh. Let's see. Here we go. All my Sipstream stuff. 9 point, what is today? 27th? Crikey. That's, moderate yikes in terms of not getting anywhere close to having this done, but that's okay. September day... one of them. September speed runs. This is number what? 4? Yeah, 4. Wowzers. Done a lot of these now. And I know 4 isn't that big of a number, but it feels big. No, I did that in too dark. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's get ourselves a similar but smaller piece in here. Symmetry ruler really would have been my friend there, but that's okay. Again, that's not the important part. The blade is the important part, so what the heck am I doing? Okay, now let's get this proper color. I've got the tartan as a reference. Well, one of its sort of variations. Wow, that's not a straight line tool. My bad, my bad. Wasn't going anywhere near the right place with that. Yeah, that's fun. We can bring this one in a little bit. Actually, I may bring them both in a little bit. Not too much slope on it. That way the final slope has a little more kick when it really shifts. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so this is where this one is going to end up getting a little bit more complicated, methinks. How are we doing? 20 minutes left. I need to pick up Z pace. Instead of focusing on all these fun little details that aren't important, I should focus on the details that are. But instead, I'm going to continue to focus on the wrong details because I'm sleepy and do not listen to myself. I saw something like this on one of the examples I saw, and while it seems like it would make it a dreadful weapon to actually try to wield, maybe it helps with grip. Should have just done one and copied it across, shouldn't I? Yep, yes I should have. I'm not going to vary the size, and even if I am going to vary the size, that's probably the smart way to do it. Oops. Okay, wait. Ruh-roh. No, this one. Oh, just... Okay, so these lines have some weirdness going on. Maybe simplifying them will all help. Whoa. And I don't like the taper on the end of this. Causes weirdness. Control point, add control point. I want one more on this one. Why? Why must you turn into just a spike? Oh well. Just the way of things. So, what I was going to try to do was combine these two. I'm not sure that'll actually go super well, and I don't want to spend too long on it if it's not going to. Yeah. Why would you combine with that line? Okay, new plan. Real quick, last ditch effort. Okay, you know what? I'm messing with that too long. We need to move on. I'll maybe come back to it later, or not. Because there's a handful of things I need to do real quick with the actual line corrections. Including a little bit of vector cleaning with the vector eraser. Some of these weird... What? Why are my vector lines doing this today? What is with you guys? One of those weird ones where it's like looped back on itself. Okay, there we go, that works. Really? You too? Did I change my vector settings somewhere along the way? Like, this is doing weird nonsense. I'm not a fan. We'll just move that one in. Okay, get rid of that straight line. Any other weird straight lines? I always find they're more noticeable than I expect on the final drawing, so I might as well actually try to clean them up a little bit. Because these ones, the best way is probably just to connect them. There we go, yeah. Now it's one easy point, mostly. All checks out. Cool. Then I'll do a very quick fill. I think maybe we'll want the middle green for this. Yeah, let's do that. Colors. Middle green for the blade. Middle blue for all this stuff. And another middle green for the tam o' shanter, which I apparently can't say. Okay, maybe a little light for this middle one. We'll work with that. Ooh, well now that's nice. I did want to have some color variance on this anyway, like that, so maybe we'll actually use that properly as it's intended. If I brought this all the way, it would, oh, for a slightly better fill. Likewise, down here to the point. I tend to prefer it ending a little earlier. It implies some a different type of depth to the point. I assume that caused it to fill over here. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. There we go. That's good enough. Got all that basically the way I want it. Well enough to it, which is good because we got 15 minutes left, and the important part of the sword is not yet done. Because we've got to actually get our tartan pattern. Prompt is pattern after all. Might as well do it proper. So, again, sort of based on clan gun, but I'm not going to say it's going to be an exact one-to-one. More because I'm not sure I can render an exact one-to-one of that. The complex pattern. Let's see, especially when I've got stuff like this going on where it's actually got a slight bend in the middle. Oh, we're gonna have to do so much line cleanup, but that's fine. That's much easier than other cleanup. Let's see, and then we've got the darker blues and then the lighter blues. Well, actually, hold on. If I'm doing that layer, a red, a light, a dark, a blue, a dark, a light, a red. Okay. We'll allow one plain sort of area, and we'll adjust this as needed. All right, these are vectors, so I'll have an easier time cleaning this up, so I don't need to worry too much about stuff then. Nice. Okay, so we got that. Red. I see where I messed up. That's fine. Okay. Well, anyway, this will be our sort of... Try to keep these roughly equidistant. Best I can. Don't know why I'm turning southern again. Where'd that come from? That ain't Scottish. Well, anywho. We'll keep at it. We got 12 minutes left, and that is time I don't want to waste. I'm going to go with our slightly lighter blue. Trying to keep these parallel best as I can. Really ought to have used a ruler for that. That's okay. Pretty obvious red's different, but again, we'll make that work. We got 2 blue. If I just did this at like a 45-degree angle, it'd be infinitely easier. But I'm going to not do that because I'm already down this path and I think this is going to look nice at the end, assuming I can get them remotely parallel. And if the size gets a little smaller as we go down the sword, I'm okay with that. Okay, and then a green space, which technically has some light yellow in it, but I'm not going to be able to render that in a good-looking way on this. I think it'd do the pattern more justice if I just left that out in my bad facsimile of it. Okay, and we're going to repeat. Hey, wait a second. Y'all remember from last time, instead of repeat, let's, well, actually, this isn't in a good position to copy. Let's not. But let us still try to keep equidistant best we can. And maintain the slant. And we've got the blues. And we're back to a darker pattern. You know, actually, for copyright reasons, it's probably better that this isn't exactly the clan that I'm basing it on, isn't it? Hey, that's fine. Okay. Okay, good. I kind of like that this is going to land like this. It's good enough. Although, it is interesting how much the slope shifts weirdly consistently, though, so I may stick with it, just because that looks intentional, even though it's super ain't. Okay. Problem now is, okay. Problem solution. Control point for every single one of these right at the center. That's right. So basically what the control point is adding a joint. So in the sort of way that your arm would be a stiff line without your elbow. Well, actually it wouldn't. There's a lot going on with arms. But the point is your arm would seem more like a stiff line if you didn't bend at the elbow versus this joint now we can. In fact, it's what I ought to do with this one too. This almost looks like an intentional perspective thing with That's wild. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm then going to take this bottom control point and I'm going to start to move only. I'm just going to tilt it. No. Just the thing I have selected, please. And we'll see if this tilt stays as parallel as the rest of it didn't. Only really one way to find out. 9 minutes left. Okay. I need to get on this. There's still some stuff that's going to need retouching and finishing, even if it doesn't need a full-on rendering. Yep, sure enough, the slope is less as we get towards the end, but that's fine. Now is the part where that vector eraser is really nice. Zoop. Clear out the stray lines off the edge. Okay. You need to actually have it on, though. And to be on the right layer. Whoops. Not accidentally click out of the layer if we can help it. Or any in the middle and the edge there. And cool, we've got the outline of a pattern, but we do not a pattern have. And that's okay. We just need to go back to our colors and do a little tweaking. That one being, let's see how this goes without that. Fill. Okay. Wonder if what enclosed. Oh, right, you just select an area and fill. Okay. So for this, I want the lighter to actually be sort of the blue. And that's not final there, but y'all will see. And then for the blue, I want the lighter to actually be like this. And then we need to go back and get our more vivid, darker, deeper blues down here. Whoop, nope, not that one. There we go. Proper deep. There we go. That's already getting some interesting stuff going on. Although it hasn't smoothed the edges quite as much as I would have liked. That's fine. That's fine. Hey, that's going to need some work, though. Alright, so we can put sketch back on for now. I'll probably want to... Whoops. I'll probably want to remove the line on the blade itself from the sketch. But maybe we'll keep the lines around these lower other bounds. Okay, 6.5 minutes left. Questions. Do I commit to the tartan? I commit to the tartan. There's no question. Let's see. What I really want to do is build up a series of counter lines. Hey, actually, that'll work. But not on the color layer, darn it. On the tartan pattern layer. These are pretty close to equidistant parallel. Close enough that it'll work. Okay. Copy that, and then we're going to move it down. As for these sections, not actually the full pattern all the way across. Oh, you know what would have been smart? Just making that a clipping layer. Oh well. And if we don't have sketch... If we bring sketch back, maybe, then I can clean that one up. Okay. I reckon we keep up with that. Let's see. Merge selected layers. There we go. And then I'm just going to do that a handful more times, and then we're going to do some real quick cleanup. It's going to have to be real quick, though. Okay. Wait, no. Oh, wait, yes. No. Ah! Oh, and now I've selected both of them. Okay. Okay, we'll just do this, and we'll try it again. Not gonna worry about clipping layers, we haven't got the time. Okay, and then 2 more like that. See if we can't get into a bit more of a rhythm now. Oh wait, I forgot to copy it. Oh, am I on the wrong? Oh, yep, there we go. Solved. I think. Really? Oh, there we go. A little bit more of this cleanup. Whoops, nope. And one more time. I need to be on the original layer for that to do anything. Oh, and actually one more time. Oh, that's awkward. That's the zoom, not the pan. 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Yikes. I don't think there's going to be any overtimes today. We may just have to accept that that final one's not going to be quite how we want it. and that the lower half of this is also not going to be quite how we want it. But no matter. Let's see. Merge those layers. Don't do that. Oh, did I merge them all into colors? No. Now merge those layers. Okay. We have 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. We're just going to do a little bit of cleanup. First off, I'm going to hide everything else. And I am just going to remove, using the eraser, these three. Now we're going to bring all this back. And for all its awkwardness, I still prefer it like that. Love to smooth the edges a little more sometime, but that's fine. Okay. And then I'm just, whoops, nope. Going to do this. To, whoops. No, not clip it to sketch. Clip it to colors. 1 minute 30. We don't have a lot of time to make any of this look grand, really, but that's okay. We'll do some interesting stuff with it. I kind of like the idea of maybe... Oh yeah, we've already established the light is above, so that's fine. In fact, I can get like a little bit light perhaps on this. Let's not worry about it. 30 minutes, still a nail biter when you're trying to do fun, complex patterns. Okay, sketch, we're losing this. Just gonna be a very plain hilt, that's gonna be fine. Sketch layer. Bring these across. 29 seconds? Yeesh. Okay. Not on the sketch layer. Oh, I didn't even have time to do fun stuff with the Tam-o'-Shanter. Ah! Move that. That's gonna cause some problems, but that's okay. I'm gonna sacrifice the Tam-o'-Shanter, and we're gonna just try to make this part look decent. Hi! Oh, and I did this on sketch too. Blast it all. I have till the music stops. Okay, I have to stop. Well, rats, we got... you know, could have been worse. I do wish we'd gotten a little more time for this part, but I spent too much time messing around with trying to do those loopy loops, and I think it came back to bite me. That said, before I post, I am going to finish out the stripes and the pattern across. I just got to do that. What layer are these border stripes on? Because they're a little bit of a problem. Oh, good. They're the same layer as all the detail stripes. Okay, I may spend another like 5 minutes doing a little touch-up on this one, but I think that the design is basically set. I wouldn't change the design at all. I'd add like a little bit of shading to give the Tam-o'-Shanter a bit of volume. Sort of better shading on this piece, and then finish out the stripes. So it's not going to be anything crazy on that one. So let's see, 8:39. We may actually have a little time to go back and do tweaks at the end of stream if we keep this rate up. Not that I'm promising anything. I am going to recommend everyone take a stand up for a second. I'm not going to go on pause, but I do suggest you stand up, drink a little water, regroup. We'll take a moment or two to recover, and then we'll jump into the next one. I knew this one was ambitious. What we can have a little fun with, messing around, is with the background color. See how it'd look on some different ones. Not bad, although I see a straight line I need to clear up. Let's see. Let's try another one. The proper gold. It feels less contrasty with that one, actually. With the beige. Interesting. Dark green, it's going to blend it. Oh, actually. I mean, it's intriguing. I don't think it's what we want to go for, though. Completely forget that this palette has 4 greens in it. And that actually makes that look like a nice color. Like the background one. Usually I think of it as a brown, but it's a little warmer. That's nice. This will blend in. Yeah, no. And we did so many dark backgrounds last time, I want to do a lighter one. Not that one, though. A little too mechanical. Maybe a light green? Yeah, that's gonna look Irish if I get that much green in it, and that's gonna make a lot of people very angry. I think this original gold is actually not a bad choice with it. Okay. That's that one. Let's pop it in a folder and set up for the next. Pattern. And now we need to do our refresh for the next one. So, color scheme on this will be interesting. I'm, of course, always open to suggestions, but I think that the main body of this one is going to be kind of gold, so we might want a darkish blue for it. Or, we could do sort of an inverse of what we've done here. We could do the green. Well, let's do a little bit of experimenting, I say. Sketch. Background. And, yeah, we'll just pop that one out of the way. Fill our background with, this color. It's not going to be the highest contrast. I mean, I could go for the super dark, and that'll pop. It's also going to look like kind of dreary while I draw it, and I don't always love doing that. So we'll try some other ones real quick. Not bad. That's proper dreary. Like, I like it, but it's dreary. Oh, wait a second. Interesting. Interesting option there. Okay, okay. I'll experiment with that a little bit. Interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to go silent on y'all. I was just thinking about the next drawing, and I think maybe on this red it would look interesting. Maybe on the peach background? Nah, let's go with the red. And I realize that's more of a salmon than a peach, but fight me. Please don't. Color labeling is so silly and frequently arbitrary anyway. Or if not arbitrary, it's well, it's just corporate designs to sell it. So like, you know, if you like a color, just do the color. Oh, and this. Okay, okay. This will be an interesting one. I'm going to try to be pretty quick on the initial sketch because our next task is Heirloom. And I couldn't decide the type of heirloom, so we're doing like all of them. Let's get that timer going, and we are back in it. Okay. Now, whoa. Clicking back into the program, CSP does tend to, I've got different pen settings for when I'm just out and about on the computer versus in the drawing program, so that it can adjust based on monitor width, and, or area width, rather. And let me tell you, it's a little jarring when I have to swap between the two. Okay, nothing crazy on the length here. I want a fairly square back, so I want like that to that to that to that to look like a square, which it basically does. Cool. And then this will be roughly the point where that starts. Okay. Simple design. Sketch is probably going to be final. We'll see. But I am going to try to actually draw it. I don't think the line tools are going to help me speed up the process except in a few key points. Aha. You'll see why I laugh at that in a minute. My laugh probably gave it away, or at least acknowledging the laugh. but worth it. As this little sword heirloom is going to be a key. I think that's fun. And no one's ever done the idea of a key mixed with a sword before. Kingdom Hearts. Sorry, I don't know what that was. But this is definitely a very different sort from their Keyblades, and B, that should be fun. Now, one thing I will say I've always liked, and I'm not always good at doing it, but I've always liked it, is when the sort of heart of the sword has a circle in the middle of it. I love all the designs where they put like a little potion bottle, sort of like we did with Snake and like some of the other ones I've seen through Swordtember. But like, it's a design style I like. Okay, fine, we'll use the circle tool for these. It'll just be better and faster. It's fine. No, I'm not a little disappointed. I do need to practice my circle drawing though. That's a good skill to have even with circle tools as a thing. It just is. Like being able to have control over curves that you're drawing is really handy when you're, well, in most situations, really. At some point or other, you're gonna have to take control of your curves. Whoops. Well, that's cool looking. But I did not, in fact, want to select everything, contrary to the belief of my hands, apparently, which click those buttons. Come on, hands. I don't know why you like the select tool so much. Not like it's that normal of a hotkey to hit anyway, but still. Okay. One more of these, I think. I don't know why with the red, this yellow has ended up adapting a very slight off-putting like asparagus green tone that I didn't have in my mind at any other point when we've used it. And like, really throwing me off. Okay. Well, let's go back to our line tool. 26 minutes, I want to pick up the pace on this part because this isn't the important part. Really, it really isn't. And even the shading on this part isn't going to be anything crazy special. I'm just going to have these sort of be like inset a little bit. I think it'll be fun. And that one's just straight up a hole, so like, yeah. Good old Zelda music though. Okay. Consider keeping those, but we did that with Snake, and I don't want to do a redundancy of it. Let's see. This part is going to be interesting. 0.1 because it needs to be a heck of a lot bigger than that. And this is where we get to take some creative liberties. Because you see, on the one hand, I do have keys I could use as a reference. On the other hand, I don't want to illustrate the exact shape of my keys for y'all. Like, not that I don't trust you, but, you know, post this on the internet, anyone can see it, and perhaps a particularly enterprising blacksmith slash doxer. That's not a title. No one would call themselves a doxer. It's... Although, you know, if they made like a 90s cyber-based show today, there would totally be doxers. They'd be like, we're the doxers. And they'd be some really goofy-looking clan of people. It'd be silly. Okay, but let's try to see. Okay, and then we can get some more, there's some jaggedy bits in here too. But I do, let's see, when it comes to keys, there's a few things that I'm still going to need to make this look believable. One of which is, I'm actually going back to the line tool for. It tends to have, you know, the inset pretty much down to the base. There's usually one to match it on this side. There we go. That looks like a proper key. And we got 2351. We're making decent time, not great. I guess I ought to try to draw actual chains and not my little abstract simple chain. Much as I like my abstract simple chain, as much as it can lead to actual chains. The actual chains are going to be goofy though. I'm just letting y'all know now. Do want this to look small though. Like, so I want the actual like chain links to even look large in comparison to it. But actually all it does is giving it sort of like a weird depth effect that then is jarring against the rest of the key. So yeah, maybe not a winning idea here, but that's fine. There we go. So that's part of it, and then we can just sort of close these loops. Just don't spend too much time on this, because this is super not the important part of this at all. And I'm not really putting an effort to make it look good. So, like, I shouldn't waste time on it and have it look bad. You know? Chain links. For whatever reason, like, I'm usually good at, like, mental understanding of shapes. Like, I love geometry back in school. But for whatever reason, chains and chain links just always break my head. I have such a hard time figuring out how they're going to go together. I've tried my hand at chainmail and all sorts of things, and they're beyond me. Okay, anyway, that's a chain-looking thing. We might keep it later, we might not, who knows. But that's plausibly a key. Okay, so I'm actually going to move straight on to colors then. Or at least the flats. Drop that opacity down a little bit, unlike, we didn't do that with the last one, and that may have been a mistake. That's okay, though. I probably shouldn't color that. We'll figure out the chain later. There we go, there's a key. Oh, then of course. Maybe we can go a little higher opacity on that. Then I want my gold shadow in here. So we're going to do shadows. It won't just be gold mined, but it is going to be clipped to the layer below, so that way it'll play nicely. Do a slightly bigger size for this. Let's see, where do we want the light to be coming from on this one? Oh, I've just had an idea that would make this look much cooler, but we may not have the time for it. It won't impact light at all, though. I guess it would a little bit, in which case I'm just going to assume a light from directly above, and I'm okay with that. We're feeling that out, and that's okay. Smaller one for this edge. Then use sort of like a straight line. Clean that up a little bit. We can do a little bit of cleanup on that too. That doesn't need to be anything fancy. You can just sort of color in there. And I should have the harshness of the angle match the other one. There we go. That's fine. And then, let's see. I don't know. Trying to think if there ought to be any shadow on any of these, but I really don't feel like there should be. Okay. Oh, other thing I need to do on the color flats. We need to do our dark fill for these two as well. But it, it's an heirloom. We got to have some fun stuff going on with it. It can't just be straight up a sword key. That alone, while fun, isn't quite enough. Oh, actually. Yeah, not on the flats layer. On the shadow / highlight layer, though, I think that'll be a nice one. And I can even do a quick little run over of some of the tops of some of these. Make them look a little bit worn. Maybe this key has been around a while. Or like maybe we're just seeing over the edge and it's glinting a little bit. You decide. Either way, I think that's fun. And it means I can do a little bit of an upper glint on this and get away with it, which I like. Likewise for this one. And same time, I can do the shadow below. Which just helps give it a little bit of depth, you know? That's right, that casts a little bit of a shadow. It's going to cast a fair bit more of a shadow, even maybe with a recognizable curve. Take a slightly larger highlight brush here. This all a little bit of a donut-y shape. Don't need that sneaking in up there. Don't think I didn't see that. Trying to hide away in my drawing. Can't have that. I should have used the hard eraser for it. Yeah, you'll notice one thing that I don't use very often, especially not in these speed runs. But I shy away from gradients quite a lot. Don't get me wrong, they have their place, and in proper shading, like, they're an invaluable tool. But maybe I just put this on a single keyring instead of all these. 17 minutes left. I agree with me, self. Let's do that. But yeah, back to gradients though. And there's a simple reason for it. It's that they're really hard to do well. And well, frankly, if we had a lot of time and I could really focus on it and think about our lighting and everything, like, yeah, they'd be grand. They'd be super nice. You could do a lot of cool stuff with like a smooth color gradient, I should clarify. Like, technically these are gradients too. They're just sort of, they're not analog, they're digital. It's very much a hard stop from one to the next. Oh my word. Let's see. Okay, come on, give me a second. I need a tool that can pick up lines. Not that line. This one. Boop. And this one, and we'll just scoot the chain out of the way. We'll do a single chain link, I think. Or keychain. Or even like just a gold chain. You know. Oh, man, I still managed to erase some of it. Dagnabbit. Okay, so this was on what, 3? We can refill that, although I don't know if I'll stick to that in the end. Maybe I just do a ring, chain. Let's see. And then on the actual ring layer, I can do a ring where I actually put some effort into it. And if I want it to be a proper key ring, I want it to look like it's really big compared to this little dude. In which case, that really needs to sort of continue. Okay, wait, the physics of this have gone wrong. Key rings. I'm going to spend so much time on this key ring that it's not going to be any good, is it? I'm going to end up sacrificing the rest of the drawing for it. That's not what I want to do. It's easy to draw ribbons that fold through stuff. It's hard to draw like a solid object that does. Whoops. We'll come back to it. You know, I'm gonna cut that for time now instead of cutting everything else for time accidentally later. So let's go back to our shadows and highlights. This very poorly named layer. But yeah, no gradients. Like, if you've got a smooth gradient, there are ways to make it look good. But they're definitely stuff that I cannot do just in a moment, and it's honestly frequently stuff that I just can't do full stop. Like, it takes a significant amount of practice to get good with those. Alright, now this is where these get fun. I need sort of like the counter shadows. In fact, hold on, let me just remove the line work for a second. I do wish that the fill tool was a little less like it is. Like, you know, like it's so pixelated, and it makes it so hard to fix. And like we'll make it work, but like it would just be easier if it wasn't like that. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to imply that there's like little spherical beads that are inset in here. But also, just very so slightly, like they're properly inset, there is actually going to be a little shadow on them. We'll see if that works. Because I want to get to the fun part with maybe 10 minutes left. Not that this part isn't fun, I actually really love messing with shadows and such like this. Wait, no. I use this proper black in here so rarely, I've got to be real sparing with it. I think a 2 might be a little too little even for this, but we'll see what we can do. Real unclear what the actual angle of this light source is. Like, the general direction is clear, it's fine, but like the actual angle is definitely vague. But I don't want to spend too much time really making this precise and proper. I just want to get it good enough for our purposes. Especially because like this part isn't even going to be that visible in the end. Let's go at least to a 3 or a 4 when we're filling this part in. That's fine. Won't worry about that one, other than, you know, if I really want to make this look nice, I could do it at a slight angle and we'd have some proper tilt and it'd be all lovely, sort of like we did with some of those early swords. But I have gotten, A, we don't have the like 2.5 hours that we did to spend on those early swords. And B, I have, I don't know, like maybe I've just committed to the shadows too much, or maybe I'm just a little too tired and I'm slipping on it, but like, I don't think we can do that one right now. Like a little bit of shadow. Just to... That doesn't make any sense. That implies curvature much better than whatever nonsense I did down here. Shadow should follow both the curve of the shadow itself and of the object it lands on, which might actually make this one a flat line, but bleh. There we go. And I do kind of want to give just like a little bit of a flat shadow down here. There we go. I'm actually really happy with how the key part turned out, given that I didn't put like a crazy amount of time into it. Okay, 10:37. We're almost to the point. But I don't know why I spent so much time making that other shadow nice if I was just about to cover it right up with whatever nonsense I'm doing here. Okay, actually I didn't. Good, 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 good. I do want to get like the inner shadow. Shadows layer, please. I don't really want to get it on the dark part, but I don't have time to do better clipping layers than what we've gotten, so it's just going to be what it's going to be. $9.58. Okay, we're close enough. Let me just wrap up this little bit here. Nope. Won't do any more lighting or shading stuff once I get this, at least not until I sort out the next piece. There we go. Let's fix that up a little bit. Okay. Because what I want to have is like an interesting monogram in here. And to that end, I may break out a brush that we haven't used in a very long time. At least it feels like a long time. That's our lovely little calligraphy pen friend. Which I am going to make a much smaller size, to be fair. And I think I'm going to reset our canvas, actually, full rotation like this, and even a little bit more. Let's see how well I remember my calligraphy. This is actually not a bad calligraphy pen at all. I'm enjoying getting to do this. We'll just throw a little bit of an emblem in there. I think that'll be fun. Now, really, I should take the curvature of this into account, but we have 8 minutes left, so maybe I'm not going to do that. At least not with anything other than the shadows themselves. Why don't we go back to the Millipen? Do just a little bit of shading on here. Nothing crazy. And a little bit of highlight. Again, I'm going to try to keep it fairly normal. It may not be like a full like spherical entity stuck in here, but it's got like a little bit of an edge to it. I want to imply that it's inset though. Yeah, I need to smooth the edges of my shading out a little, but otherwise, oh, and the actual drawing itself. Okay, maybe that's what we spend the last little bit here doing. Is this is the wrong way to do it, but just a very faint blur, not big. Oh, right, it doesn't actually. The color flats. I need to make it less powerful. Be a little more powerful than that. 2.5. There we go. Right. I'm still not going to blur the shading itself, but I do want to. Man, that's way too much. I feel like we're going to lose shape on this if we do it like this. But, I'll give it a shot. Part of this is trying out new techniques. I'm going to give this little blur a shot. I'm going to zoom out to a distance and see if this looks good or dreadful. I have to blur these to match, aren't I? I don't want to do too long of blur lines in case I start incorporating colors from multiple areas in a single smudge. Okay. It looks like it's got a little bit of a hazy halo on it, but it does look... it's not really... Oops, no. I'll watch this come back into focus. I think there's going to be a different option that's going to be closer to what we want to do. These have these in memory still. Yeah, okay, I can see them vanishing. Okay. Let's try a different one. Maybe the fingertip? No, that one's really powerful. No. Not on that scale, anyway. No. I think blur is what we want. We just want, like, a much smaller brush for it. Oops, nope, nope. We could have the blur intensity, but maybe just have it cover a smaller area, and it won't be so bad. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the ticket. Yeah, because see, it doesn't do that much to the areas that look basically the way I'd want them to. Partly because that's not the right layer. Bad example. But this is much closer to what I was actually looking for. We've got 5 minutes left. Do this, I think. And if we have time, we'll clean up our shadows a little bit. And I'm not going to bother with the key ring. Maybe a ribbon. Ribbons are easier to draw. I know normally I prefer geometric shapes, but ribbons are just like wonderfully easy to draw. And so I super like drawing them given the opportunity. Okay. Can I blur it enough to fix those little issues? Yes, actually. Interesting. Okay, there we go. That looks fairly smooth and clean. Maybe we want to do that on some of the shadows too. Not the large sections of it. Just actually no, that's on the normal color flats. I just need to blur this edge a little bit. Okay. Likewise with some of these, just like a little bit. Yep, that'll be fine. Okay, now let's try to actually do some proper brush fixing on some of this. Let's make our shadows a little more consistent. Let's say that the shadows, based on where the light is, the shadows should come around to roughly halfway around the circle, and the highlights likewise. I'm going to go to the hard eraser instead of vector. Whoa. Oh, rats. I was doing all of that in the... Oh, well. That's fine. It's on the wrong layer technically, but it won't mess with anything here. That said, I do want to make sure I cover up whatever's happening there. With that one, too. That one was a color flat, so really out of that. Okay. I'm focusing on the big shadows first, and highlights. Shadows and highlights both. Because they're going to be more noticeable if they're wonky. Whereas the small ones, it might just look like some minor deviation on the shape of the key itself. And I like the highlight, not like the lower section not going quite as far as the upper one. 2 minutes 23. Okay. Up a little bit, likewise, but that's okay. I'm continuing the shadow down further, but I think it ends up looking awkward. Yeah. Whoa, nope, nope. A nice room, please. Let's not change our color set. Not this late in the game, anyway. Okay, like, see, this one looks wonky a little bit. This should continue more down if it's going to have that much boldness. The orange should either continue all the way up with as bold as it is, or it should be less deep in the bottom, but I'm actually going to choose to continue all the way up because this one's small and the shadows aren't super visible anyway. That said, the inner ring should not be as bold, regardless of who's doing it. Okay, this with its interesting little whatever's going on here. Well, really, the light should be on the top of it, shouldn't it? That's why these are looking wrong. Okay, 1 minute 12. That's something I can fix in a minute 12. There we go. We can give this like kind of a glistening spot up here. Like that could still be reflected light from the main thing, but this should have a bit more of a glisten. And we can continue that glisten onto this if we really want. Something I kind of like. I feel like it makes these sorts of reflections look a little more believable if they continue across the other textures. Maybe that's just me, but I still stand by it. Nothing else that shows you put in the work to make sure that your reflection actually is hitting the things that maybe it should, and hitting them in the way it should. Really like to get this. Oh, 3 seconds left. Okay, well I guess this one's just gonna be wrong. Wait, no, the tilde music ends rule. Fixed. Good enough. Okay. Well, I didn't have time to add a ribbon to it, but it is a nice little heirloom sword key. Simple and cute and to the point. Sure, there's room to clean up those shadows if I'd actually planned them out a little better, but I'm actually pretty happy with this one. So we'll say as is. I like this background for it too. Like I thought about doing a more ominous background color. Yeesh, not this one though. This is probably the worst choice background color, but I thought about doing one like this, but A, it makes these look a little bit like holes, and while it does make it pop, it also makes it kind of dreary. And maybe with a shadow that would look properly mysterious. I'd Be great to add shadows under these, except I tend to rotate them when I'm posting them, and so a shadow would be very confusing. The honey sword, my word, the physics on it look nonsensical when I actually posted it. Um, and now this green, again, we've got a similar, it looks nice, but it also, oh right, the colors are also a little bit translucent, are they? That actually pops pretty well. Yeah, okay. But I'm gonna go back to our red background. I like the pop, I like the contrast. It does hurt my eyes a tiny bit, but like, I think it's in a good way. Let's see, if I were to add something, and I may, if we're doing like our little, like, if we have a few minutes at the end, I may do touch-ups on some of these, just little recaps. We talked about what we would do on the tartan sword. If I had to do just one thing on this, I would give it a nice little ribbon. Maybe a green one or maybe a blue one to match what it's got. But either way, really liking that. And, you know, even if I adjust the color floats down just a tiny bit. No, actually, because I don't even have the sketch layer on this one at all. Yeah, see, it, eh. And I'm glad we just popped those into different layers. Okay, let's pop this one into its own folder. Like so. Prompt was Heirloom. I think it was actually Family Heirloom specifically, but you know, Heirloom gets the point across, methinks. Let's see. Oh no, Dado! Crud, I had the wrong window open. Are you still here? You're never too late. I may just be too late noticing you. Darn it, I knew I should have swapped to this view. I need to pop chat on my actual overlay at some point, or else I'm never gonna notice it. Hey! I hope. Sorry if I kept you waiting too long. Yeah, when I'm on these timed ones, I end up just kind of in the zone, and I'm really bad about checking chat. I need to get that. Oh yeah, no worries. It's just me rambling to myself the whole time. But yeah, no, we've just been. I can show you the first one we made if you didn't see that one. I have to rethink the background color on this one. It really pops. Yeah, so I'm trying to do 30-minute challenges just to get these swords done because the month is almost over and I still have like 12 of them to go. I hope you weren't waiting too long. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's see, we've done Heirloom and we've done Pattern. Thanks. Yeah, I have a few details I need to clean up on this one. You can see the timer kind of got me on it. I'd like to clean up the reflections a little bit, add a little detail back here, and then finish up the stripes. But yeah, and I think a different background might complement this one better. Maybe the red would work with it. I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to mess with it. But yeah, we're just trying to do sword catch up and mess with these. Last one should be a funny one, but I also don't want to keep you up too late. Looks like I dragged the background. Easy fix. Okay, let's see. So how are you doing, Dado? Fair enough. Yeah. Gotta do the rounds. Oh, that'll be fun. Special occasion or just a chance to go shopping? Well, that can be a special occasion in its own right, but like, it's not like a convention or, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, it looks like we've got a little bit of stream delay. I guess that makes sense when we're a ways apart, but that's fine. Well, good. Hopefully you find what you're looking for. We'll say, if you ever need just a jokey, funny one, Way of the House Husband is a blast. The manga too. It doesn't have the interesting animation style, which because it's paper, but it's fun. Maybe if I move stream chat over here in my layout, I'll actually notice it. Well, not here. Oh, yeah, I know that pain about being indecisive when shopping. That's... Yeah. But, so, you know, sometimes it saves you from purchases that you're like, that you wouldn't have really liked, so I can't complain too much. But, like, man, it's inconvenient at times. Let's see. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. I just saw you type the refresh. Stream delay is so weird how it works. So that's going to be all assortment of colors. We just want the beige background for this one. Hey, here's hoping. I see your message. So hopefully you're caught up. Yeah, I'm just sort of setting up for the next one, but like, oh, computer-specific thing or device-specific thing? Yeah. That makes sense for lag. Sometimes it's distance, sometimes it's just the connection. Let's see. Oh, I have the dumbest idea for the next sword. Reset it to vertical for it. But yeah, hopefully you're caught up, and hopefully you're able to make the rounds, catching up with folks tonight, or to morning for you, I suppose. I need to go and do that again sometime. Work has been horrible crunch, so I haven't been able to stay up late past stream and actually see. Oh, yeah, so what I've been doing with ideas is I tend to just throughout the day, or usually right before bed when my mind's trying to wind down and I'm just getting stupid ideas, I just do a quick sketch on paper, like a 30-second thing. Just throw the idea down, doesn't have to be clear, just so I've got the concepts. And then I sort of do like maybe a little bit of refinement and planning, but I do roughly know what I want to draw. Or if it's a really complicated pattern, I'll actually try to proper draw it out in pencil first. But for most things, it's just sort of a loose, let's see, for Heirloom, like I didn't draw this exact key or anything like that. I just sort of drew a quick doodle, a loose, like, idea of a chain. I definitely didn't plan out the teeth or the actual letter or anything like that. And then but I do want to have the ideas. Oh yeah, no, I'm always, I'm down for ideas. So if you ever want, like, what the upcoming prompts are for Swordtember, because every one of these swords is based on a Swordtember prompt. Like this one was Heirloom, this one was Pattern, which this is one of those ones where I knew the pattern was going to be complicated, so I looked up a reference for the tartan and actually like sketched it properly. But yeah, some of them I prep more than others. This next one, I have sketched a bunch of different ideas, but they're all super loose, so I don't know how it's going to go. Yeah, so sometimes the final actual digital drawing looks really similar to my sketch, and sometimes they're completely different. You never really know. But yeah, no, if you ever want to throw an idea my way or suggestions, I'm more than open to it. But obviously you don't have to either. Yeah, creativity, it's easy to look creative when you prepare in advance, you know? I've never thought of myself as being creative. I mean, I like to think of, I want to work at it, but it's almost a skill. You've got to practice getting yourself in the right mindset and learning how to do more ideas, because the secret to creativity is quantity over quality and then picking some good ones and building on them. If you only pick up one rock, um, then you polish it, it might just be a rock. If you get a whole bunch of rocks, and then you can sort of look at them and you can polish the ones that are actually nice. Um, oh yeah, you know the real reason I stream? It's because I couldn't get motivated to do art otherwise. And so I was like, if I have a scheduled time and I'm live so that someone might pop in and check, it'll force me to actually do it. Because otherwise I never finish anything. It's the same problem. Or I'd have like a burst of inspiration for 2 weeks and finish a ton of stuff and then not touch it again for a year. And like that's not really good practice. You forget all your skills. Um, but yeah, I sort of tried to take motivation out of the equation by just forcing myself to do it with a schedule. And I think that's the secret. When everyone says you have to be determined or whatever, or motivated, I don't think anyone's motivated all the time. But if you can make a habit of it, you can do it without the motivation. Or at least it gets a little easier. Oh yeah, that's the worst part too, is when you're halfway through a drawing and you're like, oh, this is garbage. Um, uh, I love the phrase "trust the process" because usually in the middle, like even the really nice drawings in the middle look terrible, and you just got to trust that they'll get there. Oh, that'll be fun. I love Halloween costume drawings. Man, I need to make my costume this year. Should be fun. Yeah, Halloween is super huge over here. It's a big deal. Yeah, I being the nerdy child I would dress up as like world monuments. Like I went as the pyramids of Giza one time. Uh, Not exactly something you can just go buy at the store, but it was fun. A lot of cardboard. So much cardboard. But yeah, that stuff's fun. Ooh, that's not a bad idea either. Let's see. View options. Okay, yeah, let's do this next drawing. This next one should be fun. I'm gonna go ahead and kick the timer back off. I should still be able to chat, but well, I think you're probably aware how bad I am about getting distracted, and I am sorry about that. But I will keep. I've put chat in a better spot so I can actually see it. Timer is going. We will just keep on keeping on. I should probably hide the ones below it. There we go. Let's see. You can see this is genuinely one of the dumbest ideas I've ever put to paper or pixels. In either case, paper or pixels, this is a ridiculously silly idea. But that's sort of why I want to do it. Because this prompt is glass. Wow. Yeah, I got to the start of the Chimera Ant arc, and I got like one episode in, and I feel like my brain, like I'm not sure I can keep going. Like when I realized it's as long as the rest of the show combined, and all of those arcs, while very fun, did feel very long. Okay, so the secret to this is to do it better than that. The secret to this really is it's going to intersect a little bit. But wow, 119 episodes in. That's... Yeah, I've heard that Chimera Ant just kind of goes and goes and goes. Well, there's lots of good-looking glass swords. And then there's what this is inevitably going to become, which is really dumb. Oh, good, we got plenty of space. I probably should actually make this smaller. gonna work with it for now. Step one is I'm going to use this little tool that, so all these are vector lines, so I can just mess with the lines. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially Hunter x Hunter is not afraid to let characters go, is it? I'm always, and sometimes the characters are just evil instead. And then we can just keep simplifying it until it's fewer and fewer lines. Got a few easy points. Yeah, there we go. Who are your favorite characters, or would that be a spoiler? Ooh, that sounds fun. JoJo character types are always an adventure. I guess that's a bizarre adventure would be fitting. Oh yeah, I mean you can't hate Gon and Killua. If you apologize my I'm sure dreadful pronunciation. Eh, simple sketch there. That's fine. Because the important part is the silly part. And I'd like to have the straight line tool for this particular piece. Oh yeah, no, this is a dumb idea. But you know, when you say glass, I don't, well, there's lots of things you can think of, but I think of perhaps this kind of glass that one would put a drink in. And then I figured, can I make a possible way where someone carrying a platter could be construed as a sword? So dumb. But that's what makes it fun. I like silly concepts. I have figured out a way that you could have a grip on it where holding your hand underneath it, like you were holding it in one hand up, it's about to serve it, would be a way to wield it. Um, it's absurd, to be sure. But like, technically, if this is the underside of the platter, and then you've got yourself like one little hook here, and then you've got one for the thumb. I don't this so this is one of those ones where I thought like, okay, I've seen a lot of people doing interesting swords that are like glass and shattering and all that. There we go. You can carry it like a waiter. But I was like, I want to do something that's not that. And so I was like, well, what are other things that are glass? Well, there's a glass. Can I make that into a sword? The answer is probably not. This one's a stretch. Maybe I can add a sharpened straw to it or something. Come on. There we go. Let's get ourselves an actual leather layer here. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I'll use a thinner line for the actual drink inside. We'll just do some non-straight line. We'll just do some of splashes. We can make this kind of fizzy. 23 minutes left. This is kind of just still in sketch mode. I'll try to make the little tray and everything actually nice. Oh, that's a thought. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, ooh, okay. That's an excellent suggestion. The glass handle. Maybe a tweak on this. Maybe we need a different type of glass. Hold on, give me a second. I want a chance to do that platter a little better anyway, truthfully. Because it doesn't need to be that big. If anything, it could be a napkin. And I've been sort of thinking as the platter is the hilt, but maybe if we were doing more of a like martini type glass. Ooh, okay. Then we could work the sword into the actual glass itself. See, now that's a good suggestion. Bit of a glass sword. It's a sword in the glass. Let's put this into something super fancy schmancy. Then I'll probably want the straight line tool for this little bit. And if I got it, I ought to use it. And we'll sort of work that into this piece. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do some glass variants anyway, so I think this will work. Maybe a little bit of an abstract sword. Then I want to do a mug, so maybe I'll work the sword into the handle for that one too. People like novelty glasses, so maybe these... I'm sure anyone who would actually try to make this out of glass would be screaming in agony. Like, why would you design this? But, you know, maybe it'd be a thing that could work. I know some local glass blowers. Maybe that's a thing they could make. Oh, that was the better line. Okay, good to know. We'll clear this one out then. Okay, let's see. We can sort of sharpen it. Okay. We'll see if I can make something out of this that works. Like nah. I'm like not nah to the design as a whole, but just nah to that particular line. Let's see. Hit bump there. Could actually work on symmetry. I knew the biggest problem with this was that I was going to get distracted trying to make like 16 different types of glasses for it. And that may yet be the case. The big lines also always make stuff look kind of chunky. So maybe I do small lines and then we just do big for the borders around the fluid because I think that's going to be good for that. Maybe. Okay. Here, and this can even be a sort of grip worked into it. Yeah, I'll admit third sword of the night, I'm always starting to fade a little bit. Hopefully we can still make something decent out of this one. It's tough when I'm brainstorming as I go, because again, pencil art is so much easier for me than digital art. So maybe okay, new thing. Maybe it's more like the sword is embedded in the glass stem of it. And let's go back down to a reasonable pen size. Okay, so we'll sort of have. Oh yeah, you probably ought to be getting to bed fairly soon at that kind of like, yeesh. Like I mean, I've been there. I'm not judging, but like, you're gonna feel that tomorrow. Yeah, I love the idea you drink out of the glass and it like pokes you if you're not careful. It's like, oh no. Or do you mean just like embedded straight through it like this? Like sort of a... Yeah, that would sort of undercut things a little bit. Let's see. I'll try to We'll do one similar to the sword we did before, because I don't need to be designing everything completely from scratch when it's a little decorative piece like this. Clean up there. Just a knife just sitting there. Yeah, I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So it'll be Thursday, same time, which, let's see, if it's 3:40 for you now, then it'll be starting at probably 2 a.m. your time. But I will say, next week I won't be able to stream any. I've got a thing for work that's at weird hours, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But after that, yeah, it's still going to be pretty consistent. Yeah, we'd love to have you. I say we, it's me. But yeah, it's great having you around. Let's see. The rest of this month is going to be Swordtember catch up, and then we're going to start moving into some other topics as we get into a little further into October and then November. November is going to be its own thing. November is going to be fun. I'm going to try to get into some into that a little bit on stream, but I really want to get back into some 3D modeling. It's been a while since I've done that. Let's see. Until then, yeah, I'll let you get to bed. You got to get some sleep, my dude, or lass, or however you like to go. Shouldn't just randomly guess, I suppose. Yeah, I need to get. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'll have to connect on it. I need to get an Insta going for this. I got the Twitter. I'm trying to get some better social media management because trying to keep everything updated all at once is it's a lot. Let's see. Okay, and then looking at the bigger glass itself, let's simplify some things. Oh, gee, let me just get a bigger eraser for that. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. I'll have to come back. Itch 2. That's not helpful. Let's integrate these ideas. We've got so many options. Riches aplenty, really, to work with, y'all. Let's see. And I need to actually watch my darn chat a little more often, don't I? That's my bad. Hopefully in the new view I'll actually notice if someone shows up in the future. But yes, for anyone dropping by, I didn't take a break that I should have taken earlier, so I'll just go ahead and do the recap now instead. We're doing the Swordtember speedruns because I'm way behind, and while I don't think we're going to get them all done by the end of the month, we might get a decent chunk of them done, which would be great fun, I think anyway. Okay, so then let's go with line width on this. That'll be fine. And something similar, slightly above. Honestly, even just like that kind of works. I may just leave it as is, use some shading to hint at it. We'll just use this as our platter. Yeah, we'll have a little shadow. It'll be good. Okay. Doesn't need to be anything crazy for that. Go back to our straight line tool just a little bit to have a sort of grip. Oh, that's 1 pixel wide is going to be too little. 13 minutes left and too many ideas. So theoretically, one could fit one's hand into this little grip down here. We'll see the extent that that ends up working out in practice. I say in practice as though I'm ever going to make this. My metalsmithing and my glass work are both far too amateur to do anything like this. Okay, so this is plate. Just throw a new one in here. Glass A. I'll just try to keep it fairly simple. We want slightly, well, no, let's stick to the same line width if we can. Let's make it kind of a wild glass. What do y'all say? Actually, it doesn't even need to do that. It can just be really tall. Stein type. Almost looks like a vase, though, is the problem with that height. You know what, let's just make it a normal glass. Commit to the bit. The bit that this is one of the first ones I came up with that really probably shouldn't even be classified as a sword. But it's fine, it's fine. Okay. Let's see. No, let's not do that. Let's put this back in a little bit. Put it up a little bit. And we'll add just a little bit of tilt. Make it look like one of them restaurant cups. Y'all, I say restaurant cups like that's some universal thing. Y'all know what I mean, though? Like, they've always got like a little bit of a tilt to them. Whoops. There we go. We're doing simple stuff with that right now because I want to be able to focus my energy on the filling inside, which really ought to be a thinner line weight, if anything. And yes, this top is going to look rather similar to another bit of splash that we've done recently, but I'm okay with that. Let's see, we'll go ahead and add some fizz bubbles. Not a ton, though, just like a little bit. Amazing how trying to draw anything random eventually, like in the search for randomness, I always end up drawing a box. Let's see, and then, oh right, because plate's gonna end up being a little different in this one. Okay, gonna cheat a little bit on that, but that's fine. Okay, so then let's see. I want to add a color layer just so we can have something in here. We're a little behind, but that's a-okay. Beverage body. And then plate needs to be like behind the color layer. There we go. And this line needs to go away. Gotta match colors if I can. Yeah, this one's ending up a little sloppy. I'm definitely going to want to come back to this one and clean it up, because this is an idea I'm excited about, but I've just sort of gone between too many different versions of it at this point. Like there ought to be juice A, sure. Oops, little bubbles. Okay, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like the line weight of the glass should be bigger, methinks. Which is something I can do. 9 minutes left. Uh-oh. Doop. Adjust line width. Hope I want to thicken it by 2, I believe. We're just getting these lines. Maybe not that one, but this one. Okay, it's a little bit wobbly, but it'll do. don't know why the glass A should be in front. I don't know why that little bit there is being weird. Huh. That's some weird layering. Well, anyway, the other thing we can throw in here is a straw, because of course, glass A needs a straw. And let's just use our line tool for this one too. It'll be fine. When in doubt, use the line tool. That's right, this is a smoothie and not some horrible potion concoction abomination. I feel like I may have lost the thread about this being a sword at some point. I swear it looks more sword-like in my notes. Right, no, that one should definitely still be in front of it. Let's see, and then we'll just go for juice A. We can throw this in here. Let's see, on glass A, really need is for this line to actually continue to go across here, and this will suddenly become like way more believable. There we go. Suddenly the physics make sense to my brain. Oh, whoops. Let me this, and then we can go back to our color. And oh, right. We've got plate and we've got glass A, so I think this should be in juice. Yeah, okay. There we go. Physics-wise, not really a sword. It's a something. Okay. Let's group juice A and glass A. Folder that. 6 minutes left. We got A. Got ideas. Folder. Ideas. It'll launch into this one with a tad more planning. And then plate, let's add plate color at least. That way we have one finished drawing even if it makes no sense. Plate color. The glass kind of has that color reserved, so we'll do the lighter blue for this. Sort of the darker for the interior, and even the much darker for the below. There we go. That looks rough and bad, but that's okay. Honestly, I kind of want to go ahead and add the other plate hand, like thumb grip too, just whilst we're here. No straight line tool for this. Let's just sort of go quick and do it. I'm gonna have to draw an explanation for the physics on this, because this is already a dumb device. Let's see. There we go. Let's see, so this one would be for someone holding it with their left hand. Palm up, thumb through this bit, fingers through that bit. It's not recommended for anyone ever. Create folder, insert layer. Ladder. Cool. So now what I can do is maybe go through and create a few more variants. I can just hide option A, fix platter's coloring. Let's see, we need that for that. Need the lighter one for this part. There we go. Platter color fixed. And now go in here and create a new layer. Glass B. Which, let's actually attempt that martini one we were discussing earlier now. We're probably going to run out of time on it, but that's okay. And by probably, I mean 100% certainly, but that's, again, that's fine. Don't know enough about martini glasses to do this well. And I think they're fairly short in the stem. Then sort of get this like properly triangular bit coming out of it. Like really, this is what the straight line ought to be for. And we'll just do ourselves like a little loop. No, we don't really need a crazy loop on the top. Not really. That loop down. There we go. That's fine. Again, not a lot of time for cleanup, so I won't. We can throw a different sort of something in here. And then we'll try to embed a little sword into the actual piece there. I think that'll be fun. Actually, yeah, glass B, let's go ahead and do that part. And I'll be doing this with vector lines. It's going to be so hard to clean up later, but that's okay. Do that. I'll give it like a little green gemstone in the middle and a smaller one up here. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to layer the glass color over it a little bit, make that believable. Of glass B color. That's fine. That's fine. Slightly darker on the inside. Of course, what I really want to do for the fill here is actually neither of those. I want a little bit of a red line going in here. The ominous, methinks. 51 seconds. That'll do. We'll get the red there. That's kind of an interesting effect. Okay. Ay. Problem is, I need some level of transparency for this next glass layer. Okay, hold on. This will be an interesting thing. And I'm going to run out of time on it, but I'm just going to sort of keep going a little bit. Because at least we finished one of these. I want to add this little layer of transparency, including over the sword itself. Thank you, timer. I'm just going to finish this little bit out real quick. It'll be fine. That way it looks like this is sort of embedded in there. And whoops, that's not what I meant to do. We can even give this a little bit of a reflection just by doing that, can't we? That's not bad. Again, it's not ideal. There's too many ideas, not enough time to do any of them right. But sometimes that's how it goes. There we go. So now it looks like there's a lovely little sword built into it. Yeah, okay, room to improve on this one. Too many ideas, not enough time to do any of them well. That's okay. Let's just create the new folder for that. We'll call it Class B. I've got more ideas for this one, like a mug and a teacup and some other things that we'll actually have to plan out. But, you know, if I was smart, I would have just drawn that olive they always seem to put in martinis and put the sword through that. That would have been smart. Oh well. So let's see, this is glass. I'll probably hold off on posting this one. I actually want to make tweaks to it. The other two have some minor things, so we might be able to post them. This one I'm really happy with how it turned out. 1 to 90. Like, I think we just put a ribbon on this, or even like that. It looks kind of cool, or like a slight angle. Yeah. Anyway, something like that. I like how this one turned out. And then pattern. I want to try a different background color with pattern. I'm going to experiment a little with that. And then, like we talked about at the start, I'm going to clean up the shading around the tam o'shanter and the hilt a little bit. And I'm going to finish out the stripes here. But that is probably not a tonight thing because I have got to catch up on sleep, unfortunately. So these will just have to wrap up another time. You can check the Twitter, they'll go up eventually. As per usual, we won't be streaming tomorrow, but we will stream on Thursday. And then that's going to be the last time for a little bit because next week I won't be doing any streams. I need to actually mark that on Twitch that I will not have time for any streams. Just an unfortunate thing with the way work's going. I am going to have to do some weird hours, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. So, you know, it'll do. I just gotta keep on keeping on. One of these days, if streaming actually pays the bills, which is highly unlikely to ever happen, but, if it happens, then maybe we could, not have to pause for work. But for now, I actually do enjoy my job, so I'm gonna go and do it right. So yeah, I think with that, I'll wrap up. I don't think there's anyone I would normally raid isn't currently on right now, so I think that we'll just leave it as is, and I will see y'all on the flip side. Woo! Okay, see y'all next time. Have a good one.